I was cooking breakfast when the knock came. Not a polite knock, the kind that carries purpose. When I opened the door, a woman stood there, badge, holster, eyes like stone. "Sir, your wife was involved in a fatal shooting 2 hours ago." I laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was absurd. "No," I said. "She's in the garage fixing her car." The detective's face didn't move, but her hand slid toward her weapon. "Sir," she said, "please step aside." I did slowly. The smell of burnt toast filled the silence. We walked down the hall together, her boots heavy on the hardwood. My chest was hollow, my mind slow, like I was still waking from a dream that refused to end. When we reached the garage door, I hesitated. "She's right inside," I said. The detective drew her gun, and when the door creaked open, the smell hit first. Metallic, familiar. The car door hung open. The seat was empty, but her phone sat on the workbench. Screen cracked. Blood smeared across the edge. That's when the detective whispered almost to herself. "Sir," she said, "if anything happened, you'd know why." Grief didn't come. Not right away. Only confusion, then suspicion. Because my wife Lydia wasn't the kind of woman who stumbled into accidents. She calculated everything, her words, her tone, even her silence. She could lie without blinking, smile while bleeding. And that morning, before the detective arrived, she'd told me something strange. While pouring her coffee, she said, "If something ever happens to me, don't trust what they tell you." I thought she was being dramatic. We'd fought the night before about money. About a trip she said she had to take for work. But Lydia didn't work. Not really, not in the way she told me. She left every few weeks. Came back quieter each time, once with bruises on her wrist. Once with a wad of cash I never asked about. I used to think she was cheating. Now I wasn't sure what word fit anymore. I kept my composure when the police left, answered questions, signed statements. Then when the house went still, I began to dig. Her phone was locked, but the blood had smeared her fingerprint sensor. It opened on the second try. Messages, hundreds of them. A man named Elias, no last name. No photo. Everything's ready. He can't know. He won't. He never does. I scrolled through the threads. Codes, coordinates, bank transfers, and one video. Blurred, distant. Lydia sitting in a car with someone. It wasn't Elias, it was Detective Marrow. The same woman who told me my wife was dead. That night I couldn't sleep. I replayed her words over and over. She said, "If anything happened, you'd know why." Maybe it wasn't a warning. Maybe it was an invitation. The autopsy report came 2 days later. Gunshot to the chest. Close range. No defensive wounds. But something was wrong. The timestamp. The time of death was before the detective ever came to my house, meaning Lydia was already dead when Marrow claimed she'd been involved in a shooting. I took the phone to a friend, a tech analyst I trusted. Within an hour, he found what I needed. GPS logs, Lydia's final call. The night before she died, she met Marrow in a motel off Route 6. The call lasted 12 minutes. Then nothing. I sat in my car outside the precinct, watching the lights flicker through the rain. Marrow walked out just past midnight, alone, calm, like someone who'd already buried the evidence. When she saw me across the lot, our eyes locked. She smiled. It wasn't kind. I didn't threaten her. I didn't scream. I waited, listened. I filed a private request for the Internal Affairs report. Marrow's disciplinary record. Turns out she'd been investigated before, tampering with evidence, coercing suspects, all buried. So I did what Lydia would have done. I turned the knife slowly. I sent the video, her and Lydia together, to her superiors. Attached the timestamps, the location data, the matching cell tower logs. No note, no signature, just truth. 2 days later, her suspension hit the papers. Officer under investigation for connection to civilian death. The headline didn't mention Lydia's name, but it didn't have to. That evening, Marrow came to my house again. Off duty, no badge, just eyes full of exhaustion and fury. "You think you know what she was?" she said. "I know enough. She used us both. And now you're paying for it." She stared at me for a long time, jaw trembling. Then she whispered, "You have no idea what she did." "You're right," I said, closing the door. "But I know what you did to her." And the latch clicked like a coffin closing. Weeks later, the case went public. Lydia's name resurfaced in classified reports tied to a federal sting. She was an informant. Marrow was her handler, and I was the fool they both used to keep each other clean. In the end, they killed her to erase the evidence she held, evidence that could ruin them both. I thought I'd feel grief. Instead, I felt balance. Lydia lied to me in life. Marrow lied to me in justice, and I lied to them both in silence. There's peace in knowing the story's over, even if every word of it was a lie. I still cook breakfast every morning. Still hear that knock in my head. But when I close my eyes, I don't see her face. I see the detectives and the way she looked when she realized. Lydia may have been dead, but I was the one still watching. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.